Greetings, it's Sacred Jasmine. I'm coming at you with a video today to pretty much show you how to make a very powerful, very healing growth oil for hair. And you can add this to any cheap conditioner that you have. You can do a hot oil treatment with it. Or you can just use it plain, or on your ends. And of course, we're going to be using some dried herbs today. And just real quick, I have to make sure I say this, but you need to make sure you don't have any allergies to anything that I'm going to have on this video. And make sure if you're like pregnant or nursing that you consult with your physician on the use of certain herbs. I'm not responsible for whatever you do in your home. Okay, so let's get started. So first and foremost, you're going to need a container to put your oil in. I have just a old olive oil container that I've cleaned out, and I'm going to use that to house my oil. I have one of these things just to strain the herbs from the oil when we're done with it, and I have a glass bowl that's going to house the oils in, and we're going to use that to mix the other stuff up. Okay, so over here we have a teaspoon, a half a teaspoon, and a half a cup. We have a small glass bowl that we're going to use to put our herbs in before we put them in the oil. And of course we have some oils here. And I'm just going to let you know real quick the healing benefits of the oil. So I have some extra virgin cold pressed olive oil right here, which is really good for skin health. I mean, everybody knows about olive oil and its healing properties. It's also really good for antioxidants. And I have my castor oil. You can use black Jamaican castor oil. You know, I'm old school. I use pure castor oil. It's the same thing, okay? But it's really good for detoxing the scalp and hair growth. Of course, over here we have our jojoba oil. It moisturizes hair without leaving any residue, and it's the closest to our hair's natural sebum, or to our scalp's natural sebum. And let me start over here. So we have some basil, have dried basil, which is really good for treating hair loss and acne. It's antibacterial and anti-inflammatory, and it's also an antioxidant. And all of these over here are known for their hair growth and hair health properties and scalp health. So I'm just reading off some other benefits that they have as well. Okay, so there's the basil. And over here we have our beautiful lavender, one of my favorite herbs. Lavender is good for its therapeutic properties. We have some nettle here. Nettle is really good for cleansing the scalp, and it's also one of the oldest treatments for hair loss. We have my favorite herb in the world. My favorite herb in the world is rosemary, and it's beautiful. It smells woodsy. It's just my favorite herb. But yeah, so rosemary is good for slow graying in the hair, and it's also used to treat dandruff and dry scalp. We have some hibiscus back here, hibiscus flower. Probably one of my least favorite herbs, only because I don't like the smell of it. It's very pungent, but I think it's a beautiful flower. So here we go. The hibiscus herbs, and I think these are the flowers in here. And they're really good for hair growth, for shine, and for thick, strong hair. So for that, I'll put it in here. We have some parsley. Parsley is a member of the mint family. So of course you're going to get that beautiful, those beautiful properties of mint as far as like the scalp stimulation. But it's also pretty good for disinfecting the scalp and protecting from sun damage. So there's that beautiful green parsley. Here in this bag, this is hops. Hops, hops, like Officer Hops on that movie. What's that movie called? I forgot. It's something like with a little police bunny. But anyway, so this is called hops. These are the petals. And it's a really good hair growth stimulant. It is really known for thickening and strengthening the hair, and it's a natural antiseptic. And of course over here, you know, I have a teensy tiny bottle of peppermint oil, and it stimulates the scalp. It prevents against hair loss. It's been used for hair loss treatment for many years, and in its use of a hair loss treatment, it was known for not having any toxic side effects. So no toxic side effects. So now we're just gonna hop right to it, because I'm not trying to make this video long, but they always seem to get really long. So first and foremost, I'm gonna take a half a cup of olive oil, okay? Half a cup of olive oil right here. Perfect. And I'm gonna add it to a hot pot very carefully. And when I mean hot, it's on 2. So it's like a very low setting. And we're not trying to fry herbs here, okay? That's not the point of this. We're just trying to infuse the oil with the herbs. So in this glass bowl here, I'm going to add a teaspoon of, whoa, trying to do this with one hand. So we're going to add a teaspoon of basil, a teaspoon of lavender. We're going to add a half a teaspoon of nettle. Nettle is very, very powerful. I ask that you watch this video to the end, because I'm going to be saying things about herbs. I do study herbs as well. I have a whole cabinet full of herbs, just dried herbs, and yeah, but I'm sorry, I put a teaspoon of rosemary in, and I'm going to put a teaspoon of hibiscus, parsley, and hops. So why it's really important to know what herbs that are going into this. It's very important because some of these herbs can be used to promote, like if you're pregnant, they can promote, what is it? Not miscarriage, but they promote, what is it? I can't think of what it is, but basically, if you want to have your baby early, you know, and maybe your baby is a little overdue, a couple days, my midwife told me you can use some castor oil, a tablespoon of castor oil. And don't go doing this because I said it. But you said use a tablespoon of castor oil, and that will induce your labor. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm using a teaspoon of castor. Oops, I put in the oil. I put in the wrong one, y'all. Oh well, that's okay. Let me see. What am I doing? Okay, and I'm going to use, I guess, like a tablespoon. I'm just going to eyeball it. If you are looking for these herbs, you can probably find these herbs on Amazon or another company that sells herbs. I need to clean this out. I put my parsley in the wrong one because I'm talking too much. But basically, you just take this over here to your olive oil, and you just put it all in. And I'm going to turn it off because I don't want to fry it. I just want to infuse it. So you're going to start smelling. You're going to start smelling it. So I just turned off my heat because I'm not trying to fry it, like I said. And I'm just going to, let me see. Okay, so I'm just kind of stir it up a little bit. And since it was warm, you can let it sit here until it cools. Okay. You can actually take it off of the heat because you don't want to fry it, but just enough to infuse the oil. So I would say like this little bubbling here, that's fine, but you don't want to have a full-on deep frying herb fest, okay? But yeah, so we're gonna let this infuse for a few minutes, and it should be good to go. Okay, so while that's over there cooling off, I came over here and I went ahead and I put half a cup of castor oil and half a cup of jojoba oil in my glass bottle. Okay, and I did that just off camera. And when you're doing that, make sure you use some type of funnel, because I wasted some of my oil, and I hate wasting my oil. You know, this oil costs, it ain't cheap. You know what I mean? Like that little thing of jojoba oil was like $20, and to me that's a lot. So, but let me stop being cheap and let me continue. So I have half a cup of castor oil and half a cup of jojoba oil in here, and I'm going to take my my peppermint oil and it's just a little bit. You know, you want to do like maybe the equivalent of 10 to 15 drops maybe. Ooh, well, there you go. There you have it. I don't even think I have that much left. I might as well put those last few in there. And yeah, so now I'm going to go over here to strain my herbs, and let's get started. Okay, so you'll know the herbs are ready when you can kind of get that scent, and you need to infuse these, you know, like I only did like 5 minutes, but you can do, I've done some oils that I've infused where I let the oil sit for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you know. It just depends on what you want, and you'll tell if it's right for you when it gets to that, the aroma comes to your liking. You know, if you want a strong aroma, let it sit for longer. If you want to kind of on the light side, don't have it sit too long. Mine is kind of on the light side today because I don't want to overpower this and make it too strong for my scalp. So here we go. Nice oil infusion, and I'm just going to pour it in here very carefully. Okay. It looks amazing. Okay. And, you know, just kind of like, uh-oh, whoops, I spilled some. And yeah. So once this is cooled, you can add it to the other oils, give it a good shake, and there you have it. You will have an infused, very powerful, very therapeutic, very healing oil for your scalp, for your hair. You can add this into a shampoo or conditioner that you that's kind of cheap, that you want to enhance with some healing properties. Like I have some, I just bought this last night for an example, but I have some cheap, you know, Suave, you know, naturals, professionals, whatever, and it was like $3. But you know, I've used this before with positive results, so it's like a cheap one that I trust. And you can add this oil in there to make it more healing, you know, for your hair. But you can use that. You can put the oils, you can heat them up and do like a hot oil treatment. I mean, there's so many things you can do with this oil. But like I said, please check with your physician, you know, before using any herbs that you're not sure about. You can find these herbs online. I found most of them around my hometown. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. So most of the herbs I can get from like a international market or something like that. But if you don't have that in your neighborhood, you know, just go online. I mean, they're not hard herbs to find. They're not like impossible rare herbs. You know, they're pretty much everywhere. So anyway, I'm gonna do another video where I'm using this oil, and I will see y'all in, I guess, in that next video. I don't know when I'm gonna put that video up, but it'll be in the next week or so. So yeah, but enjoy your oils.